Hey guys, it's the first ever Sports Talk with Bryce. I'm here with my brothers Nick Grunt and Steven Grunt. Say what's up, guys.
What's up?
What's up?
All right, today we're going to be talking about bowl predictions and who they think that will win the national championship. All right, we are starting a little late. First off, we're going to be Friday, December the 23rd, which is tomorrow. We have Louisiana versus Holston. Nick, who do you think's going to win that game?
Probably Louisiana.
You got Louisiana.
Yeah.
Really? Louisiana's 6-6. All right. What about you, Stevie?
I think I want to do Holston.
Holston. I'm gonna go with Holston too. They are a 7-point favorite. I'm gonna go with them probably by 2 scores. All right. Next up, we got Missouri from the SEC versus the ACC. Wake Forest. All right. Who do you got, Nick?
Wake Forest all the way. ACC.
Wake Forest is going to blow them
Their
out.
offense is too powerful.
Yeah. I got Wake Forest also. Next up, on Saturday, we have Middle Tennessee versus San Diego State. Both 7-5 teams. Who you got?
Middle Tennessee.
Middle Tennessee, really?
San Diego State. Don't know anything about them.
Really, I'm thinking it's going to go San Diego State. Going to be a close one. San Diego State's 6.5-point favorite. So I got them winning by 3 on this one. All right, next up on Monday, the two 6-6 teams battle for the Quick Lane Bowl. We got Bowling Green and New Mexico State.
I'm going with New Mexico State.
I'm going with Bowling Green.
I'm gonna go with New Mexico State on this. Bowling Green really hasn't showed anything good this year. I got New Mexico State with the upset. Next up on Tuesday, December the 27th, we have another two 6-6 teams playing. We got Buffalo versus Georgia Southern.
Buffalo.
I got Georgia Southern on this one. Georgia Southern had an upset earlier this season. They are a 3.5-point favorite. I got them winning by 7. Next up, we got Utah State and Memphis. It's a big game for Memphis. Memphis played pretty good this year. I got Memphis going big.
I got Utah State.
You too. Memphis.
So you got Memphis, Steve?
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we got a battle. They played in the regular season, and East Carolina took it away. We got Coastal Carolina and East Carolina.
Coastal. The guy said Coastal.
I got East Carolina.
I got Coastal Carolina getting revenge this time. All right, next up, we're going to go with Wisconsin and the Oklahoma State team. Guaranteed Rate Bowl is the bowl. Who do you got?
I got Oklahoma State.
I got Oklahoma State.
I got Oklahoma State big on this one. I got them by 21. All right, next up, the one team that shocked everybody this year in the football season. They're usually a basketball school. We got Duke and UCF.
Duke.
I got UCF.
I got Duke on this one. Duke big. Duke by 3. Here we go. Now the next two. The disappointment in the SEC in Arkansas versus the team that had an outstanding year at first and then they went down at the end is Kansas. Who y'all got on that one?
I got Arkansas.
It depends on if KJ Jefferson plays. If he plays, I got Arkansas. If we don't play, I've got Kansas.
I got Kansas on this one. Arkansas's had a terrible season. Next up, I got Oregon and North Carolina. The North Carolina ended up making it to the ACC championship and got beat by Clemson. This one I got North Carolina to win it. I think they're a better football team overall. I don't think Bo Nix is really good, but I don't think he's going to show out this game. So I got North Carolina.
I think I'm going to go with Oregon this time around.
I'm going with Oregon. They're too powerful. Their offense is too much better than North Carolina's defense because they've been shaky all year.
All right, next up I got Texas Tech and Ole Miss. Ole Miss was pretty ranked high this season, and then they ended up dropping off the last 2 games. I got Ole Miss to beat Texas Tech in this one.
I got Ole Miss winning by 21.
I had Ole Miss also winning, but by 14. They're looking for redemption after the 2 losses.
All right, next up, my favorite 2 teams we got playing here. We got Syracuse, a 7-5 team, and Minnesota, 8-4 team. I'm going Minnesota. Minnesota's a good team. They could have beat Michigan in the regular season, but came up short. I'm going Minnesota big on this one.
I'm going Minnesota also.
Minnesota as well.
Alrighty, and next up, we got the soon-to-be SEC contenders, Oklahoma versus had a really good year this year, Florida State.
I've got Florida State this time.
I have Florida State as well.
Yeah, I'm going to stick on that train. I got Florida State beating Oklahoma. I don't think Oklahoma's going to do good in the SEC anyhow. Next up, another SEC team, joining the SEC. We have Texas versus the 10-2 Washington. I'm going to go ahead and say my vote. I think y'all two are going to go different than me anyhow. I'm going to go Washington. I know Texas came close and almost beat Alabama and had a good game against TCU, but Washington, I got Washington beating them by 3.
I've got Texas this game.
I've gotten Texas. Their starting quarterback didn't get hurt this year. They would be in the playoffs right now.
That's a big pope. That's a big
bold statement.
Oh,
Yeah.
Lord. Alrighty. Mine and Steven's favorite game. This is going to be big for Tennessee football. It's going to be Tennessee versus Clemson, the ACC champions. All right, Nick, we're going to start with you.
I'm going with Clemson.
As much as I hate it to say, I think I'm going to have to say Clemson also, just because him and Hooker towards ACL. We've got too many departures going to the NFL draft. Now, Tennessee, if you look up the matchup predictor, they are predicted. They've got like a 54% chance to win. But Clemson's favored, and they've got that freshman stud as a quarterback.
All right, well, I'm going to stick with Tennessee on this one. I think Joe Milton's going to have a good game to start off fresh for next year. He's hopefully going to be our starting quarterback. I got Tennessee beating Clemson 24-27. It's going to be two battles of backups. Both teams have starting quarterbacks out. I think Tennessee's running game is better than Clemson, so I think Tennessee's going to pull out the win. All right, next up, we're going to have Maryland versus NC State in the Duke's Mayo Bowl. Who you got, Nick?
NC State.
I'm going to go with NC State, too.
I'm going to stick on that trend and go NC State, even though Tua's brother is on Maryland's team, and he's been doing really good. I'm going to stick with NC State on this one. Next up, an ACC versus, a Pitt team versus a UCLA team. Who you got?
UCLA.
I got UCLA.
Yeah, I think UCLA's ranked pretty down. I mean, they're ranked 18th right now, but I think they should be at least in the top 15. They're a pretty good team. I got UCLA also. Next up, we got South Carolina and Notre Dame. That's going to be a really good matchup. Who do you got?
I'm got South Carolina. They have been hot lately. I'm just going to stick with them.
I hate South Carolina just because they knocked Tennessee out of the playoffs. I'm going with Notre Dame this year.
Yeah, South Carolina is doing really good here lately, but so is Notre Dame. Notre Dame has really been playing good here lately. They started off like 0-3, I think, but they really got back on the track. So I'm going to go with Notre Dame. Close, but Notre Dame. Next up, we got Ohio versus Wyoming at the Barstool Sports Arizona Bowl. Who you got?
Wyoming.
I got Wyoming.
Wyoming, really? I'm going to go with Ohio. Hopefully, Ohio will stick it out. Next up, on a big Saturday, December the 31st, right before New Year's Day, we have 4 big games the first big game of the day is going to be Alabama versus Kansas State. An upset matchup everybody's hoping to happen. Alabama's over under on this is 6.5. I'm going to go with Alabama, though. Alabama's just too powerful, too strong. They have 5-star after 5-star after 5-star. I don't think Kansas State's going to compete.
I believe if Bryce Young plays like he usually does, they'll run Kansas State out of the building. But if he don't have a good game, then Kansas State has a shot to beat Alabama.
I'm going with the underdogs, Kansas State. After their championship game against TCU, I think they'll surprise a lot of people against Alabama.
All right, we're going to go with the next up. One other disappointing SEC team this year is going to be Iowa versus Kentucky. Kentucky is actually not favored to win this one. Kentucky's quarterback, Will Levis, has declared for the draft. Don't really know how he's going to do in the NFL. College, though, this year, he did not have a hot year. What do y'all think?
I'm thinking Iowa.
I'm thinking Iowa as well.
I'm going Iowa in a defensive battle. I got them probably ending scores going to be like 12-9, something like that. It's going to be messy, sloppy. All right, the next two biggest games of the day is going to be TCU number 3 versus the number 2 Michigan. I'm going to go ahead and start off. With an upset. I got TCU pulling out with this dub. Personally, I really think TCU had a really good season this year. Yeah, they slipped up a lot. Michigan, though, Michigan has a big year, but they lost that starting running back. Now, their backup running back is just as good, but I'm going to go with TCU with the underdog on this one.
I believe Michigan is going to win. TCU's an okay team for me, in my opinion. I just think Michigan's too powerful.
I think TCU's going to win it. They're going to look for revenge after the loss against Kansas State in the championship game. They just play too many close games and somehow find a way to win.
Yep, I think
they're just unlucky in the championship game, but I think they're going to pull out against Michigan.
I think they're going to prove that they belong here on this one. All right, next up we have the Dogs versus Ohio State. The disappointment loss against Michigan, got outran against Michigan. I don't even think they should be in the playoffs, but here they are playing the Dogs. I got the Dogs big in this one.
I got now Ohio State's powerful on the offense, but I think one of their best players is cleared for the draft. I think Georgia's defense is just too strong for them to do anything on offense.
I want Ohio State to win, but I don't think they should be in the playoffs, and Georgia's going to run away with this one.
All right, next up we got Mississippi staying 8-4 versus a kind of disappointment at the end of the year, Illinois. Who y'all got on that one?
I got Mississippi State.
I've got Illinois this year. That's not.
Yeah, now I got Illinois in this one. Illinois is a really good defensive team. I got them shutting down the Mississippi Bulldogs. I'm going Illinois by 3. Next up, my favorite team of this year is Tulane versus USC. Who y'all got on this one?
USC.
I've got USC. They got that Heisman Trophy winner. Even though I don't think he should have won it, but
I'm going to go ahead and call my upset again. I got Tulane beating them on this one. Tulane's been shocking, but I think they're going to keep it up and beat USC this time. All right, next up we have LSU versus Purdue, the SEC runner-ups.
I got LSU. They've been good this season. Surprised a lot of people, I think so, after their rough start. But I think they're going to win this game.
I believe LSU's going to run away with it.
I got LSU also. That's another 3. Both of all 3 of us agree that LSU is going to take this one away against Purdue. Next up, we got Penn State, a 10-2 versus Utah, the champions, 10-3 this season. Who y'all got on this one?
I have Utah because they showed some good strength against USC. That's a powerful team this year, I think.
Yep, USC has lost to them twice this season. They are 10-2. Those are his only losses. I got Utah also. Utah big in this one. Utah big.
I've got Utah too.
All right, next up in our final game, it's going to be on Monday, January the 9th at 7:30 on ESPN, the national championship. Who do you think is going to be there, and who's going to win?
I'll start off. It's going to be Georgia and TCU. And I think TCU will give a good competition against Georgia, but I think Georgia's just too powerful. I think they're just going to win by 7 or 10.
I think it'll be Georgia and Michigan. Ohio State's defense is kind of like Tennessee's defense. You know, those were the two top offenses in the nation this year. If Ohio State can pick out Georgia's defense, they can win this game by 20. But if they can't, then Georgia will win by 14.
All right, I'm going to go with TCU and Georgia on this one. The Dogs have done really good this year, stopping the number one offense in the country during the regular season with Tennessee. They just find a way to destroy everybody's offense. And Stetson Bennett has been doing really good this year. Was a Heisman candidate. I'm going to go with the Dogs to get a back-to-back national championship. I think it's going to be close, though. TCU is going to hang in there, but in the end, the Dogs are going to stick through. It's going to be 24-21, the Dogs. And that should be it, guys. Thank you for hanging around. Next time, we're going to have some NFL playoffs up next. All right, we'll see y'all later.